While countless Canadians continue to suffer in silence after being injured by what officials still claim to be safe and effective, the so-called Vaccine Injury Support Program, called VISP, has once again revealed what many of us have suspected all along. It's not about helping the victims, but rather about lining the pockets of bureaucrats and private consultants. Let's dig in. The latest official parliamentary communication on VISP came in response to what is called an order paper question, Q141 to be exact, posed by Conservative MP Ted Falk. It details VISP spending figures totaling $52.9 million spent since its launch in 2021. That's nearly $53 million of taxpayer money, the same taxpayers that also funded the entire rollout of the COVID-19 vaccines across the country, showing that it's everyday citizens who are on the hook at every turn, footing the bill for development, distribution, intense behaviorally informed marketing campaigns, and now the fallout, while government agencies and private companies shift responsibility and profit behind closed doors. You would think that given the high-profile injuries documented across the country, that the bulk of this money would go toward compensating victims, but nope, it's not even close.
The reality is that as we recover, as people get back to normal, normal will arrive first and quickest for people who chose to get vaccinated, to protect themselves, to protect their loved ones, to keep out of the ICUs that we are seeing filling up right now. So the incentives and framework we're putting forward of saying that you're not going to be able to get on a train or a plane if you're not fully vaccinated. In many provinces, you won't be able to go to dinner in a restaurant or go to the gym or go to the movies or go to a sporting event unless you're fully vaccinated. So people who haven't yet chosen to get vaccinated but are considering it need to see that our country is deciding that we will move forward for everyone who is vaccinated and try and convince through all sorts of information campaigns and direct appeals, but also with a federal framework.
I first broke that story after overturning senseless redactions in access to information filings, revealing that over half of the program's intended budget was funneled to Auxero. That's a firm quietly rebranded from Raymond Shabbat Grant Thornton Consultancy, Inc. mid-program, with no public explanation as to why and zero accountability for where the money is going, especially as the program has faced intense scrutiny over mismanagement, staggering delays, unprofessionalism, and a total lack of results. So here's what the updated numbers show. Only $16.9 million, that's less than a third of the total, has been paid out in compensation to people actually injured by the COVID-19 vaccines under this program. The rest has been funneled into salaries, overhead consulting, legal fees, and software licenses. In fact, Auxero has raked in almost $23 million in salaries alone. Even in Quebec, which was the only province with a pre-existing vaccine injury support program, victims received just over $310,000 in compensation, while salaries consume a staggering $1.8 million. That's 6 times more. Yeah, 6 times more, not for compensation, but for salaries, instead of the victims of the government's massive psychological operation pushing safe and effective above all else.
So that everyone can be safe. And what's more, the federal government has announced we're going to pay for the development of those privileges that you get once you get vaccinated, because everyone needs to get vaccinated, and those people are putting us all at risk. And Aaron O'Toole is siding with them instead of with Canadians who did their part and stepped up. He's talking about personal choice. What about my choice to keep my kids safe? What about our choices to make sure we're getting through this pandemic as quickly as we can? That's the choice we've all made. Canadians have shown it in being there for each other. And I am not going to back down, no matter how many of them show up to try and shout us down from what I know to be true, what science tells us, what Canadians have told me, which is people are willing to do their part to get through this pandemic, and that's what we will do together. So shame on you, Erin O'Toole. You need to condemn those people. You need to correct them.
Perhaps even more shocking is that the feds didn't even bother issuing a contract for this massive, first-of-its-kind national program. Instead, they handed over this taxpayer-funded program through a 5-year contribution agreement. It's a loophole that evades the oversight and accountability of competitive government contracting. That's how Auxerro got this gig. No competitive bid, no scrutiny, just a sweetheart deal. And now injured Canadians are facing continued delays, denials, and in some cases are being pushed toward MAID, medical assistance in dying, as they struggle to get the support that VISP promised.
We're all in this together.
We've come so far in the fight against COVID, it's time to finish this pandemic for good. So get vaccinated. If you know someone who hasn't, talk to them. For our kids, for our communities, for our economy, it's how we get forward together.
Vaccines are safe and effective for use. Vaccines are the best way for you to protect yourself, your family, and your community. So get vaccinated. Let's fight COVID-19 together.
Pour vous protéger vous-même, pour protéger les plus fragiles d'entre nous, pour protéger l'ensemble de la population, le meilleur moyen connu demeure le vaccin. S'il vous plaît, soyez responsables, soyez solidaires, faites-vous vacciner. Merci.
We all agree getting vaccinated is the way forward. We're all in agreement this is not a partisan issue, so please get vaccinated.
We're united, and it's time to get the shot. Vaccines save lives. They're how we're going to beat COVID, and it's time for everyone to do it. Get the shot.
Get the shot.
This isn't the first time we've exposed issues with the Vaccine Injury Support Program, from bureaucratic delays to inconsistent denials, and now a money trail that reeks of cronyism. The question becomes, who is this program really for? The victims or the administrators? Now, let's look at VISP's own stats, keeping in mind this program is $53 million later, and only 234 claims have been approved by VISP's elusive medical review board. With 3,317 claims received, it's clear that the bar to receive support is absurdly high. Injured Canadians must provide extensive medical documentation, undergo lengthy assessments, and are often left in limbo, all while consultants and lawyers collect guaranteed paychecks. And it's only getting worse. With no transparent breakdown of spending for the current fiscal year and new research consultants like the Breyer Institute quietly pocketing non-competitive $40,000 contracts to study how to make this better, it's clear the government's priority isn't justice for victims. It's optics, and it reeks of a cover-up. For Rebel News, I'm Tamara Ugolini. If you'd like to find out more information on the novel modified RNA injections, you can do so at nomoreshots.ca. At that website, you can also send a form email to our Federal Minister of Health calling on her to revoke market authorization for these injections. All of that and more at nomoreshots.ca.